Hey, this is Jeff with the Building Boys. By trade, I'm a chiropractor, and I own other real estate ventures such as extended stay suites and long-term rentals. One day a week, I grow my passive income portfolio. In these videos, I will be working alongside my father building our next passive income stream, a senior citizen fourplex. Watch our videos and repeat the process for yourself so you can become financially free.
Okay, today we're going to be putting in an interior door, and then so you know if you're getting a left or right-handed door, there's one way where you put your back up against the wall, and if you want the door to swing this way, you're using your left hand, so this is a left swinging door. Since the switches are right here, you do not want a right swinging door because you'd walk in, the door would be here, then you'd have to shut the door to turn the light switch on. So this is going to be a left door. This opening is 38.5. The door itself, this part is 36 inches. With the jamb from outside to outside is 37.25. So the whole thing is 37.25. The opening is 38.5, so that gives you a little bit of space on either side. We have a green laser line going, so we know that this is level. Or if you want to put an actual level, you can also do that too, and this is level. And then we're going to do, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to put these on, right?
Yeah, use the thin ones. There's 3 different thicknesses there.
Okay, we moved everything inside the bedroom because we're going to be pushing the door in, and then we're going to be kind of stuck inside here for a little bit. So since we're designing this so you can do it by yourself without anybody else, first thing we did was we talked to our flooring guy and see how much of a gap does he want so he can just slide the flooring. So we just took the actual flooring that we have, cut little pieces, then he just put little stirring sticks underneath it just to give him a little bit more space. So that's what our door is going to sit on while we get this mounted. We then screw these little pieces of OSB, and then we just put a screw very close so we don't put a hole in the drywall that the casing won't cover, so we can just push the door up against it, then we know it is flat right with this outside of the drywall. We measured where the hinges will be, so we're at 10.5 inches, 41, and then 71.5. So that right here is where the hinges go. So we put a screw in, we're gonna go through the door, through something solid, and then into the 2x4 so that we're not screwing into a gap, because then that will pull the door in. So this is gonna be something solid for the door to hit to. Make sure at the bottom of the door, they put little pads. Make sure you just get those off because it could throw you off a little bit. Right now is an easy time to do that. Am I missing anything?
And then this thing has to come out of the door too, that holds it shut.
Oh yeah, you need to take this out because after you put this in, obviously this would be up against the wall and you can't undo that. So this is just for transportation. But that part stays in, so it stays square, right? Then we just pop that out later?
Yeah, they all.
Okay, make sure that gap's across. All we did was put a 2.5 inch finish nail on the other side, and I'll show that. So that gap is nice. We don't want it open too much on one side. Okay, I think I failed to record this whole thing, but we got this door opening nicely. If it was a factory little default, we actually had to take this door stop off right here. So this is the door stop. It was just rubbing and it was just kind of making a bother. So we just popped it off and we're just gonna close the door and then reinstall it because it was just off the 16th, kind of being a problem. Okay, so we want to make sure when you're putting these shims in, don't shove them in tight. You know, you just want to keep this gap the same all the way through. So then you just put shims in accordingly. We just use the air nailer to put little ones in here. On the hinge side, you want to use actual screws to really hold that in. Okay, you guys, so we're gonna go completely over the steps. So this is gonna be a closet door, okay? It is gonna be a left swinging door. It's gonna swing out. Okay, so hinges on the left, or if you, I like doing it that way where it's back up against it, which way does it go? You're using your left hand. Other people do it as what hand do you grab the knob with? That kind of confuses me a little bit more. I have the laser set up That line is perfect. So that is a straight wall. That's the side that the hinges are gonna be on. Okay, now get your little pieces of flooring, put them underneath. Okay, I'm gonna measure where those hinges are basically. It's at 10.5. Boom. 41. 70.5 inches. We're gonna take these little pieces of wood, right where the hinges go, so there's a little bit of a gap. So we're not just nailing right onto the wall. Okay. We get some wrenches right in my pocket, so we're good to go. Now typically, I screw on these little things right as backers, so I can just push it up against. Can't really do that with the closet. There's no room. And so, we won't do that this time, so I'm gonna set this right in here. Make sure you take that little nubbin. This opening is 22.5, the door, including the jamb, 21.25. The door itself is 20. Okay, so I got the flooring on the floor to set it on. This edge is level. Good gracious. In that top corner, the drywall's just kind of hanging a little bit. Let me never a dull moment. Make sure to take that little nubbin off. You'll never get it off after you put the door in. Alright, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a 2.5 inch screw on the top, on the hinge side. Now that this door is in, I'm actually going to, okay, now that the door's kind of in place, I am going to put one of these backers. Just so when I open up the door, I'm not trying to figure out where I'm at. Got that. Duh. Can't open the door. There we go. Alright, now I don't have to try and figure out am I flush against the side. I'm just going up against that piece of OSB. Okay, so I just put a 2.5 inch screw. Alright, maybe you guys can get a better view there. Alright, so now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check this gap right along the top. You want that gap line to be the same. It actually doesn't look too bad, actually. So if that gap looks good, you're good to put a screw in the bottom. If that gap was wide here, you'd want to wedge, put a, well, that's two of them, but right there, and that will push it this way, raising the gap. So when I'm talking about gap, I'm talking about this line. So I'm going to continue to put a couple more screws on the top and the bottom. Okay, all right. Middle's not as important as far as putting screws in. I'm just gonna air nail that right where that piece of wood is. Now the one thing I have not been very impressed with these doors, these screws are just in there horribly. Good gracious, so I'm just gonna tighten those. Some of these hinges were not even seated in the cutouts. This one is. If those screws are sticking out too far, it'll really mess with how that door closes. Okay. So now, I need to make this side work for me. All right, so it's pretty tight right now. You know, it's, touching. Pretty good on the bottom. We got a pretty good gap here. So what do we got here? 3/4 inch. I'm just gonna get some bigger chunks of wood here quick. Now what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna take a hammer, just lightly tap. Not anything crazy. I just want to open that up just a little bit. This might actually be too wide. See, now that's closing pretty good. Alright, so I am going to just use this itself. It's just perfectly wrong. Okay, nice gap right there. It gets wider right now, right here, so then we'll just shim this out a little bit better. So this one's a little bit trickier just for the fact that you can't be on the inside. What's finding here? So I'm just not a big fan of these doors. I'm hearing a squeak. These door stops are not perfectly in the right spot. I don't know if you probably won't be able to see, but kind of annoying, to be honest. Chunk of wood plus a shim just lightly, and that's perfect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pow. Measure that line. It's a little bit wider here at the bottom. It's actually about right there. I don't know if you can see that. Just keep on checking, see where you're at. Okay, I'm just gonna shim that in just a little bit. Yeah, that's too much. One door done. So yeah, I'm just gonna pop this off, take those nails off, and I'll shut the door from the inside and then re-tack that, because that's just, it's causing it to push out just a little bit. That door stuff just isn't in the right spot. All right, we got this thing working perfectly. It was kind of not closing all the way at the bottom before, so all I had to do was just push this out a little bit and then it worked perfectly. Tore that out, re-nailed it, so now that's not making a squeaky sound. And then it's just a little bit tighter right here. So all I did is, you can maybe see there, just screw, maybe. And that screw is just to pull it in just a little bit so it doesn't over time kind of arch this way, because it's opening and closing just fine right now. But when we have humidity changes, if there wasn't a screw right there, this little piece would shift back and forth, okay? So once again, that top line looks good. If it's open on this side, just put a little wedge right there. All right, let's get to putting another jam in for